Shout out, I told you my favourite verse was Proverbs 3:5-6. I wasn't lying. Second of all, I spilled my drink. That's terrible. And completely irrelevant. Anyway, welcome back to Chapel TV, my people. My lovely and wonderful people. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend, by the way, and I hope you've had a great... The theme for the week this week is koinonia. It's one of our school values, okay? And it's one of those values that feels a little bit like, what the heck does that mean? So I'm going to explain it to you really, really quickly, right? So koinonia is a Greek word, okay? It means fellowship, it means community, and it means sharing life, doing life together. And you might be switching off already. You might be thinking, a tuned out quest, like this ain't even relevant to me. Well, hold on a minute. Hold on there, brother. Wait a sec. Koinonia is still super relevant for you and I because we still exist and operate, all right, and function within a community. Now, our chosen, given community is school. And so koinonia really is super important because what you and I both have to understand is that although our lives feel like they're centered around us and only us, it's really important to remember that the world itself doesn't actually center around our own personal experience. We just observe the world and experience the world through our own personal experience. Having been a kid in school, your social life has such a big impact on the rest of your normal, regular, day-to-day life, all right? And that is actually what makes community so important. They become your communities. And what you learn in those places, okay, what you pick up, what you choose to believe about the world, all right, all of these little things can be so greatly influenced by the social circles that you operate in. It will influence the way you approach life and look at life. It will. Here's my social group / community spiritual reflection challenge for you today. I want to bring you a scenario, right? So here's the scenario. So you're in a friendship group and in the friendship group, there's a falling out, all right? Two of your friends split off and go in two different directions. The group is split and other people in the group are taking sides and you feel caught in the middle, okay? How should you, could you, would you respond to this kind of scenario? I've got 3 questions that I want you to reflect on when it comes to this scenario. So here's my first question. How can you be a part of bringing peace and unity? How can you help bring peace and unity? How can you be focused on not picking sides, but bringing peace and unity? So one thing I think is really important in communities, especially when we talk about koinonia, is being able to experience peace, experience unity. Look at school, majority of the time, you are at peace. You know, nobody's running in and causing trouble. There's no major issues or problems that are causing people to, lose their minds. That's why we practice the drills that we do, so we're ready for if there was a scenario or a situation of chaos. But for the most part, we experience a lot of peace and a lot of unity physically. It's generally speaking, when it comes to dealing with other people, that peace and unity is most threatened. So I would ask you, if you were in this situation, again, two of your friends in your friendship group have a falling out, people are picking sides, and you feel caught in the middle, not sure how to respond, how would you help bring about peace and unity? Second question, is it possible, what do you think, right? And have this discussion as a class, is it possible to stay friends with both sides? Is it possible to stay friends with both sides? I've definitely been in this scenario before where you might be closer to one person than the other, but the person you're closer to might be wrong. And so sometimes the hardest thing to do in these situations is to find balance. And that's really what this question is all about. Where is the balance? And can you find it in a scenario like this? And what would it take to find balance? Does it mean listening more to both parties? Does it mean you being the one that is the voice of reason? What would it take, all right, for you to for you to possibly stay friends with both sides? And it's not necessarily would it be the right thing to do, but is it possible to stay friends with both sides when two people go off in a conflict? And here's my third question for you today, and I'm going to lean on another school value. What role does forgiveness play in restoring community. So what I mean by restoring community is when people fall out, when things happen that go wrong, there is this sense of a breaking apart, and then things need to be restored. So if you've ever had a fallout in school and you've had sort of like a restoration conversation, like maybe your PM or your teacher has brought two of you together to try and hash out your differences, that's what we mean by restoring. You come back together and you try and restore the relationship by going through what you thought the other person did wrong, and they go through what you did wrong, and then you hash it out, and then hopefully both of you sort of go and say sorry, and then you sort of fix the situation. So in this sort of scenario, what would forgiveness even look like? All right, how would you restore this relationship? How could you potentially help the two people in your friendship group repair and restore their relationship together? Really and truthfully, my goal in this video is just to get you thinking about what it would look like for you to contribute to your school community, your friendship groups, your social groups, in a way that brings about peace more than it does chaos. Because we live in an era, a time, and a world where it's so easy to fall out over everything and anything. And actually what's really important is learning how to build community with friends, with family, with school peers, with teachers, tutors, all of that, all of the people involved in your community. Not only how to build it, but how to maintain it and keep it going, because community makes such a big difference in your life. There's a famous saying that it takes a village to raise a child, and it's totally true. We all can learn lessons from people that have gone before us, and we can teach lessons to people that are behind us. And if we don't have community, we can't do that. But we are supposed to do that. It's why God put us in community in the first place. Anyway, I hope some of these questions are good for generating some sort of discussion, and I hope you have a good one. I'll see you in the next video, my people. Take care, don't stress, and stay blessed. Peace.